Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, brothers and sisters. Welcome to our session. I would like to start it off by reminding us of the affliction and suffering that our brothers and sisters are going through in Gaza. The level of the tribulation is so much that I'm short of the words to describe it. But I would like to also remind us that as much as suffering in trying times can be a test from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, peace, comfort, health and wealth can as well be a test from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that naturally brings a responsibility and a role for us to play. So I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to provide our brothers and sisters in Gaza the relief and strength they need to prevail victorious, as well as for us to pass the test and fulfill our responsibility. So today our session is on the future of education in the era of artificial intelligence. As you know, it's one of the hottest topics these days, especially after ChatGPT was given access to public. It's impacting all fabrics of our socioeconomic practices in our current society. So that's why we have our brother, Dr. Tahir Aziz. He's a professor of computer science at Long Beach City Community College. He's also a board member of the Islamic Society of Orange County. He's well involved in the education as well as interfaith activities in the community. He will give us insight on the recent advancements of artificial intelligence in general and ChatGPT in particular, especially providing us tips on how we can make best use of the resource that's available to us for teachers as well as students and community members.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah. So first of all, like brother had mentioned that our hearts, our hands and our wallets are open for Palestinian brothers and sisters. So in fact, we think about them every single day, every prayer, we pray for them. So inshallah, let me, as a professor, let me ask you, show of hands, how many of you have not used ChatGPT? Okay, that's okay, nobody's perfect. So, how many of you have never heard ChatGPT? Never heard? Okay. So this is something according to Google's CEO, Sundar Pichai. He had said that this is more bigger than fire and electricity. And in fact, some people in the business world, they are saying this is bigger than invention of fire, invention of wheel, and electricity. And we remember that we as hunter-gatherers, we transitioned to farming, from farming industrialization, then telecommunication, which include a lot of different things, telephones and television and all sorts of things. And then in 90s, we started accessing the internet. That was pretty revolutionary. And in fact, if you're old enough, many of you are old enough to understand, I remember that first time I accessed the directions from my university to my house, it was mind-boggling. It was jaw-dropping experience. You can get the directions from the internet. It was an amazing experience. And imagine carrying a smartphone. Just 20 years ago, most of us, we did not have a smartphone. Now, what has happened, November 30th last year, which is less than a year ago, like brother had mentioned, alluded to it, that the ChatGPT was open to the public. And since that time, 180 million users are using it every day. 180 million, and we are talking about billions of transactions, billions of queries. So it is pretty revolutionary how explosive the growth is. And if you have not heard, let me see the show of hands again, Sam Altman, if you have never heard his name. So some of you, last week has been, from last Friday to this Friday, has been pretty amazing. It is, if you remember Apple Computer, if you have never heard Apple Computer and Steve Jobs, what happened, he started in 70s, around 85, he was gone as a CEO, came back in 97-ish, and This episode, this drama happened in last week with OpenAI, and I'll talk about OpenAI if you have not heard OpenAI in a bit. It is unbelievable. In 4 days, they had 4 CEOs. Because what exactly is happening that the board is very reputable people. These are people in the business and academia, in politics. They are very well-known people. They actually fired him last Friday. They brought one of the other lady, Mira Murthy, and she became a CEO. Then they brought a Twitch ex-CEO. They brought him as CEO. Then they brought Sam Altman back as a CEO after a few days. This is pretty incredible because what has happening, and in the meantime, Microsoft had offered Sam Altman, Greg Brockman, and the entire team of OpenAI a full-time job. And typically, a full-time job in OpenAI starts with bare minimum $200,000, and a decent developer makes about $800,000 in a year. $800,000 looks like a lot of money, but not in this particular arena. This is unbelievably revolutionary. So I'm going to skip some of the slides because this one is developed for several hours of discussion, and I only have 30 minutes, so I'll cover whatever I need to cover. Every single day we create a data which is worth about 2.5 quadrillion, which is quintillion, which is about 15 zeros. You know, million has 6 zeros, billion has 9 zeros, trillion has 12 zeros. 15 zeros. This is how much data we create. Now, what do we do with the data? How do we monetize the data? That's what these big companies and corporations are looking for. People like you, so you can monetize this data for them so they can continue to make billions and trillions of dollars. Remember, many of these companies are not selling anything. What do you buy from Google? What do you buy from Facebook? You're not buying any products and services. You're not paying a single penny, and they're still trillion-plus-dollar companies. So in fact, there are 7 companies, just remember their names. Those are called, there are different names given in the industry, but those are the 7 major players in artificial intelligence. And so you say, well, who cares in artificial intelligence? Well, this is where the rest of the world is heading. And the transition is so fast that, according to Goldman Sachs, 300 million jobs will be lost. And in some estimates, by 2030, 800 million jobs will be lost around the world. Which means, if you remember, just a few years ago, we had a political upheaval in our country. And you can say, well, people were unhappy about the political development. I actually see, for the last 30 years of experience, it's all driven by technology. Certain groups and segments of the society in West Virginia and Ohio and Kentucky could not keep up their job opportunities like their grandfathers and grandmothers and fathers and mothers had, so they were looking for a savior, a QAnon. And that's what we see. And now this particular AI technology is going to make it unbelievably what we see from European immigration from Africa and other parts of the world, and the migration happening over here. 100,000 people crossing the border here. And this will be in millions because AI is going to make everything upside down. So what is an AI? You can look at the definition here: a branch of computer dedicated to creating intelligent machines. Now this term is not new. In 1951, this term was used, but we did not have the processing power to produce changes what we can do now. And in fact, NVIDIA, one of the companies, one is these phenomenal companies, was making gaming CPUs and GPUs. Now suddenly they are the major players in AI and these areas. Now we humans, we have 2 types of intelligences. We have IQ. What is the other one, guys? EQ. So I actually, in my understanding, IQ resides here and EQ resides here. Now we can develop this, we cannot develop this. This something is a gift from God, gift from Allah, subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this one, although we can probably copy a lot of these human intelligence, and we'll talk about machine learning very briefly because I just completed my training with Stanford University in machine learning, and I can tell you, it's all algorithms. a lot of algorithms, and you run on these models. And GPT is generative pre-trained transformer models. So you train these algorithms how to come up with the correct identifying certain characteristics in those models. So this also includes natural language processing, the language we speak as humans. And in fact, I might have an image here. Let me show you this image here. So you can see AI includes machine learning. Machine learning has another component within, it's called deep learning. And then we have all these human languages, the way humans interact with other humans, the way we think. We actually have an ability to create artificial neurons. That's what deep learning and machine learning is doing, but we are not making the heart, the EQ. EQ part is the one which will keep us safe, at least when there's a lot of confusion. And it's going to create a lot of confusion in our teaching, in our education, as well as in our belief system. This is going to be a very, very big challenge. And in fact, I have theories about it. This is not the time to talk about those theories. But if you want to have an image, you want to take a picture of this image, this will stay with you. This is the relationship of these kind of technologies within. And I'll skip some of these slides just to save some time. And these are some of the players. When it was started in 2016, Elon Musk, Sam Altman, Greg Brockman, and a couple of other people, they started this project. It was supposed to be an open project, non-profit project. As soon as they saw the potential around 2018, 2019, 2019 they introduced ChatGPT 2.0, and they saw this could be the next big thing. This could be a next big Google, or bigger than that even, because every industry is going to be impacted by this one. Now you say, well, we have heard this about Facebook and this. Look at the social media. In the last 15 years, the social media has made our entire globe upside down. Humans, billions of humans are addicted to social media. You go to the remotest village, I'm originally from Pakistan, you go to the villages, they're addicted to social media. They can't live, that's their food, that's how the people breathe. This is bigger than that one. So this is the group of people, they introduced that one, and then multimodal neurons in 2021. But nobody anticipated the fast-paced development. And in fact, once the momentum actually is caught up, it goes much, much faster. In fact, now OpenAI, which is the company behind this ChatGPT, and there are many companies are developing. I have an image show you that Google and Snapchat and Salesforce and each one of these major players, Amazon, they have their own programs like that one. They are developing their own models like that one. But OpenAI is the one which is taking the lead in this particular case. And I'll briefly talk about it if you want to talk privately later on about your job opportunities or investment opportunities, what are out there. So these are, I'm going to skip this one, some of the development. And this is showing you the chart. Around February, anti-cheating technology was introduced because now students are using ChatGPT to do their homework. Now, honestly speaking, how many of you already have completed your homework? I see few, and few other people are not raising their hands. A lot of students are doing their homework. In fact, 9, 10 years old, they're doing their math homework, writing their papers and reports in ChatGPT. In fact, I was looking at one of the person who was an architect who used to spend $6,000 in 2 weeks to develop a project. Now it cost him 11 cents and takes only a few minutes to develop the same project. I actually go to conferences which used to take me days, if not hours and hours of work. Now it takes me only a few minutes to develop the same exact content, the proposal, the presentation, everything is developed by ChatGPT. So this is pretty incredible. It's making it more efficient. Although there are issues, and we'll talk about biases and hallucination and all those issues, but this is the release date. As you can see in the middle, November 30th, 2022, it was released. And there are different kind of efforts. People are trying to talk about it. How do we actually stand against it? So I'm going to skip that one just to save some time. So ChatGPT deep learning language model developed by OpenAI capable of generating human-like text. So it's called generative pre-trained transformer. It's basically looks at different models and it tries to kind of imitate how the human's brain are supposed to work. Because you cannot describe a cat to a program, but you can show millions of pictures of cats, and I actually have an image I'll show you, millions of pictures of cat, and in the future, that algorithm is going to detect, is it a cat or not a cat? You don't have to describe anything. Same thing, you can show millions of images of certain kind of people. It's going to have biases, and in fact, it's going to have problems. But we need to be informed as a community. We need to be in forefront. We need to be trained in this one in order to take advantage of this one. Can I stop this one? We can't stop it. It's already out of the lamp. Genie's out of the lamp. We can't really stop it, but we can educate ourselves and probably train ourselves. We can prepare ourselves. And I'm going to skip that one. It just shows you that how it trains on different models. I'll show you the images once I get there. This is an image. So this is what an algorithm looks like. So you have a program, and typically you need to learn Python. If you have not heard Python, Python is a very easy language. I teach Python, I teach C++, I teach many other languages. Python is one of those languages that is being used for artificial intelligence and machine learning. And it's a very easy language. And many of you probably are 65, 70 years, it's too late for me. It's not. It will take you only a couple of weeks to have basic understanding of that language so you are prepared for the job market. Because there's a chance by 2030 your job will be replaced with something else, with a program. So it looks at these training data. So all these images, millions of these training data, and then there's a chance of error, and then you train that algorithm. You train that algorithm that one of the image does not belong in that model. Like you can look at the picture of a dog. So that's how we train it. And that's what I did a couple of weeks ago. I was doing this training, and then you come up with a model. And of course, it's gonna take some time. In a couple of years, 3 years, 4 years, it will be as smart as we call it AGI, Artificial General Intelligence. And in fact, some scholars are saying by 2031, we will reach the singularity. Singularity means when the artificial intelligence becomes much more smarter than all humans, which means we'll cross that threshold. And that threshold means we don't need humans anymore. So those decisions will be made by these artificial intelligence models. In fact, whom you're gonna marry, which schools you should attend, which cars you should purchase, how you should practice your religion, what is the source of your data for your religion. All this will be provided by these particular models. Now you might argue, well, I make those decisions. We do not. Honestly, why you dress up certain way? Why you drive certain cars? These are driven by the influences we have around us. And these influences will be unbelievably strong by that time. So we have ChatGPT, large-scale training, contextual understanding. I'm going to skip that one. It's too hard to read in the back. Many pre-trained models. You can see Google has their own Google Net. We have YOLO. It's another model. We have, by the way, Microsoft was one of the sponsors to OpenAI, and they actually had invested several $1 billion, and they actually continue to promise. And in fact, they hired Sam Altman last week. Over the weekend, they hired him, and he went back to OpenAI. So the reason is because all this chaos is happening because these individuals, these decision makers, they can see the potential. They can see where this is heading. And in fact, when we think about, again, this is a distraction from what I'm saying here, but when we think about the Dajjal, he's going to control the major sources of everything. Major sources of food and major sources of water, major sources of knowledge, major sources of seeds for agriculture purposes. Imagine if it's controlled by one individual, one corporation. That's the direction AI is going to go. And there will be a lot of merges going to happen. So there'll be 2 or 3 or 4 individual corporations controlling the source of these models. I'm skipping some of these things. This one shows that most of these languages already are this much accurate. You can see Arabic, the ChatGPT actually provides about close to 80% accuracy, which is natural language processing. And a lot of other languages, my language is Urdu, it's about 72% or so accurate from looking at that point. So also, let me also highlight that I'll ask you a question, and it could be interactive. And do we have more jobs now, or we had more jobs in 1930s and 40s in our nation or worldwide? More. We have more jobs now. Although we had technological innovation, although we have the internet, although we have vehicles, similarly, the nature of the jobs will change. So when you hear these scary terms, millions of jobs will be lost. According to Goldman Sachs, 300 million jobs, the nature of the jobs will change. You need to change with the same one. So especially for younger people, I'm glad that a lot of younger people are sitting here. So you need to train yourself and prepare yourself. The nature of the job is going to change very dramatically. So AI is going to replace the tasks, not the jobs. Tasks will be replaced. So people who were left behind in West Virginia and Kentucky and South all were over, they were left behind because they did not understand the potential and the power of the technology. And those jobs were taken by a lot of immigrants. Asians and Indians and Pakistanis and Arabs, all these high-end jobs were taken by those individuals. That's why there was so much hatred. So technical revolution of the past, such as the industrialization and internet, all these, this ChatGPT and similar models will supersede that one. And the people with that knowledge will have superpowers. You will really have superpowers. Imagine if you need to invest, you need to continue to get 10 to 15% every single year after year. You can actually train your AI model to make you that kind of money. And this is already, a lot of these companies are already doing it. So what can you do? You can experiment with these tools, and I'm going to demonstrate, because I don't have much time, so let me see if I can demonstrate something right here. Yeah, already we have only 10 minutes left. So you can log into ChatGPT, and I think I copied and pasted. I'm asking, why should I attend Los Angeles Muslim American Society Convention? I'm asking this question to ChatGPT. It's not showing me here. Yeah. It's just Control P.
Or Windows, the Windows.
Suraj, yeah.
Exit.
So I just asked that question to ChatGPT, and it's not showing me everything there, but that's okay. Now I don't have cursor, Suraj. It's gone, disappeared. Okay, so you can ask any kind of questions, again, just to save some time, because I would like to give you an opportunity to ask any questions. So I just copied and pasted some questions from my PowerPoint just to save some time. And I'm going to run, just to give you a demo, this is one of the projects I give in my programming class. And I will run this in ChatGPT just to show you. And this project, we spent about a couple of weeks to complete this project. I'm asking ChatGPT to do this project for me in programming language. It's writing the code for me. And it didn't complete the whole thing, but it also shows, yeah, it's not behaving as expected, but that's okay. It shows not the entire not only the entire project, but also the imagery of that one. It shows the entire model. So it takes only a few seconds. Doesn't matter how complex the project is, what kind of project. And you can throw it here. Within a few seconds, you will have the solution. You will have the imagery. You will have the models. Everything done by ChatGPT. It actually, in 3.5 ChatGPT, which was the previous version, it was accepting only 3,000 words. Now in ChatGPT 4, which has a fee of $20 a month, it can accept 25,000 words, pages and pages and pages of input, and it can produce an output for what you're looking for. Let me show you one more model, then I'll take some question. I did ask what is a solution to Palestine and Israel problem, and right before our class and session, and it gave me a pretty good answer. And answer is, well, these are some of the solutions: two-state solution, one-state solution, collaboration, and living together. And you'll notice that a lot of these answers are very structured. They're not free-flowing like humans. Humans are free-flowing. They're very structured, very business and methodically written by scientists. These are the computer scientists. So they know exactly how it is supposed to be to satisfy the audience. Let me run one last one, then I'll take some questions. Here I'm asking, write 10th grade essay on seeing sights and journeys. I'm gonna put that one. And for some reason I'm not getting a full result, but you'll see that it's gonna go to close to 173 billion parameters to grab the result for me. So, and you can throw any kind of question, any kind of essay, and it produce very human-like structured answer. And your imagination is the limit. Whatever you want to throw. In fact, you want to find out, now you can actually do the reverse engineering. If you want to find out which websites can allow me to download pirated videos, it will not give you the answer, but you can do the reverse. You can do the prompt in a different way and it will give you those sites. Same thing, how do you make up BOMB? It will not give you that answer, but you can do reverse engineering so you can be a little bit smarter. And they are fixing those issues. And what are some of the issues? Then I'll stop and I'll take some questions. Some of the issues are, and you probably know some of those issues, right? So it has biases because all the data which resides on these parameters, 173 billion parameters touching, basically they have biases. Biases about certain races, certain kind of background, underprivileged communities. It also has hallucination. It makes up things. It makes up a lot of different answers. They don't exist. And by the way, I did ask, one of the questions was, how do I go to paradise in Islam? And it tells me step by step, this is how you can go to paradise. And in fact, I have 5 minutes left, but I wish I could show you more. I just want to highlight last thing, then I'll take a, what about the higher education for younger people? The critical thinking is the key here. I've been teaching for 22 years. I can tell you that when you go to school, college, university, develop critical thinking. Critical thinking is you become a problem solver. Don't worry about the grades. Develop the critical thinking. And develop the sense of mastery, that you're a master of your domain. And you have ownership of your belief system. Don't worry about everybody else. Develop that confidence. Develop a certain knowledge. You are able to, in fact, I believe personally, wasting time is haram. On the day of judgment, 5 questions will be asked. 2 about your time, 2 about your wealth, and 1 about your knowledge. And God is going to ask you, how did you spend your youth? I was watching Netflix every day. On social media. Wasting time is haram. So this is the time you want to prepare and reflection and deliberate. Develop the understanding of these knowledge tools. These knowledge tools are available for free in many cases. And also these ChatGPT kind of tools, they can allow you to develop a lot of tutoring systems, a lot of learning opportunities as well. I'll stop, otherwise I can continue to go on. Let me see if there are any questions. Yes, sister.
So along the lines of using ChatGPT in higher education, something that Canvas and other like school websites have started doing is that when people, like students turn in their work, A lot of the time, students will get like 100% use ChatGPT, and a lot of the time they haven't. And the professors are going based off of this metric and giving out zeros, which is really like hurting these students because now they're not able to graduate, and the professors are not believing them. So, what are some solutions? What are some possible solutions for this?
So I actually did have some images here, some slides that showing you there are some software available to catch those. And also the traditional submission of these projects and assignments has to change, and the quizzes has to change. Especially I teach 80% to 90% online colleges. I teach for Cal State system, I teach for Long Beach, and I can tell you, cheating is very up in the air. It's everywhere. Cheating is, plagiarism is, and I don't have a solution for that one yet. But I can tell this stuff is not their work. And I can tell clearly that the quality of the work has increased significantly. That cannot be their work. But there are some software, and Turnitin, they're developing their own, and some of the other websites, some of the publishers, they are embedding these anti-ChatGPT kind of tools in there. But I don't have a solution for that one yet. And yes, sir.
Will AI use moral code in the future? How are they, when it comes to making business decision, how do we ensure that they use ethics and moral codes when they make business decisions?
Excellent question. So bias is there, so which means that the answer ChatGPT is going to give it to you is from their perspective, because they are going to, right now I tell my students, we used to have physical slavery 200 years ago. Now we have digital slavery. We are slave. Honestly, we are slave to social media. Why do you need to go to Facebook or Snapchat or these things? Because to make them hundreds of billions, if not trillions of dollars. So in order to answer your question, those decisions, you have to use your heart. You have to use that aspect of that one also, because when you go online and look for the answers, you will not be finding the answers which might be beneficial and accurate to you. So biases are hugely involved in these tools. Any questions from this side? Yes, sister.
I'm here to say children or youth growing up, knowing that this is out there, need to make sure that they're developing their problem solving, mastery of their subject, and values. Those things, I think, really have to be developed through students' communication skills, speech and in writing. And so if we're encouraging students to use ChatGPT, because it's possible, if we encourage, especially if they're younger, they won't develop, I don't know how they're going to develop those skills if they don't actually put it into words, their problem-solving thoughts and their values. And so kids like to do things that are easy. So it makes me scared that they won't develop those things.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Computer technology, phone, they're very beneficial. They are not bad. It's just like how you use them. So ChatGPT, I can tell you, it has saved me tons of time. It is lifesaver. At the same time, if you are lacking critical thinking when you're young, when you are 10, 11, 12, 14, you're growing up, your brain is not fully developed, you will not be able to distinguish between right and wrong, then that's the scary part. So if you are developing those skill set while you're growing up and going through the system, educational system, probably you will have the benefit. Yes, yes, sir.
Yeah, I just like to follow up on the sister question here. I think it's very, very critical to convey the message to our kids, to the young. When they write the report, be the author of your own report. Be, like you said, be the master. I mean, get into the mastery, develop the critical thinking. Write your own story. Whether you write a report or you do a presentation, and then the last step, after you do your utmost effort, you bring your best first, and then go and utilize the machine.
Beautifully said. Beautiful, brother. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and that's how you excel.
Yeah.
First, you put your very best first, and then go and see how it looks like on the ChatGPT.
Yeah.
When you do that, you're really improving your critical thinking, and you're trying to bring your best to become better and
Thank you,
better.
brother. Sister.
In a professional setting, if you are writing something for your work, is this ethical to use ChatGPT in that setting?
There's nothing wrong as long as you are, as an academic, as a professional, you're giving references. You're saying this, it comes from this source. ChatGPT doesn't produce anything. It's just picking up all the data from the different servers and computers and websites and books. It's just picking it up, but picking it up so efficiently. So if you're giving, for example, I didn't have a chance to show you, you want to do the entire Bukhari research for a specific topic takes only a few seconds. I was doing research for Hajj, and it takes only a few seconds to find every single thing in every single Sahih books. It's pretty amazing. So as long as we give the
What if it's your own ideas? So would that be still ethical to use ChatGPT? If they're your own ideas?
sure, that's right. In the back, then I'll come with.
Can you comment a little bit on the idea of having machines that have emotions and how AI, and the danger of having that? Also, the idea of having autonomous machines. Like I've seen a lot of work that has been looking at autonomous weapons, for example, that are controlled by AI. And that's a whole kind of challenge for us.
It is. In fact, I used to present robots in different conferences. I used to bring these robots. These robots were programmable in C++, I can tell you. They were not smart robots, but developing the emotions and feelings and love and sympathy and all those belief system, all those powerful things we have in our hearts. Because on the day of judgment, God is not going to look at your brain. God is going to look at your heart. So we are being judged on our hearts. So far, I have not seen anything, but this probably will be a big next challenge. And probably AI is going to develop the heart in the future also. Yes, sir? Then I'll come to your question.
Okay, so you had said that there's some certain biases that they put into their structure.
Built-in algorithms, yeah.
So the question is also, I think the two questions were similar. I mean, you asked a question that, okay, here's what is the solution to Palestine? And it came up with, okay, there's a two-state solution and there's a single-state solution, or getting together as a community of single. But are they working on this emotional side? Because as far as the Israelis are concerned, they're never going to give that back. They want to go. So how is it? Are they working on this to develop the certain biases that will tell them, okay, that this is never going to happen?
Yeah.
This is never.
So I can give you an answer indirectly that it's picking up, it's not producing anything new, it's picking up whatever it finds on those parameters. So for example, if you say create a chapter, a surah, like Quran, it's not gonna create one. But if you say create a chapter or a book in Bible, it's gonna create one because it's up for grabs. So it is pretty smart about that one because it's gonna say, see all over the world, there's no way it has the permission to create a surah like Quran. So it looks for those things to produce the content. Yes, sir?
It was another question about bias. It seems like bias is an advantage or a result of relevance in our thinking. But then, of course, the disadvantage comes with the negative consequences of that. So do you see a reality where this can be done without, with bias design totally out of it, because that's what you would expect as the value that it provides to you, the calculation or the formula without your bias.
Yeah, so as a human, as a decision maker, you still have to look at the data produced to you, given to you, and you make a decision based on the data. So you should be able to have no confusion whatsoever. You should be strong enough to understand this information which is being provided might have biases. For example, when you look at today's Black Friday, who is pushing you to buy these things? These corporations, in fact, I was listening to the radio that people are waiting since 6 p.m. yesterday, and they were asking, how much did you save? I said 30% on this one. Imagine that 30% is $200 or $300. You could have made that one by working at home. So I'm sorry, I can speak to you later about that answer. So just take a couple of more questions. Yes, sir. Then I can go to the sister next.
What kind of jobs or industries do you see being created around the usage of AI?
So some of the jobs which will be impacted, I actually had a whole few areas. and these jobs will be impacted, as well as a new type of roles will be created, new tasks will be created. For example, customer service will be eliminated, it will be taken over by artificial intelligence. Personalized learning is going to take off. So if you are in that business, personalized learning, mental health support, that's a big area, because we have millions and tens of millions. We have every household, in Muslim household, one person has a mental health issues. Very significant. So that's a big area as well. Automated content creation. So you set up these parameters and it can produce a lot of content, and you can make money in passively, because we are looking for passive income. That's what the investments are. Personalized marketing, that's another big area. You can actually develop systems, they can do personalized marketing. Fraud detection, language translators. In fact, we know as Muslims that when you go to paradise, inshallah, all of us, we go to paradise, we'll be speaking Arabic. Like I am not fluent in Arabic. How do I speak Arabic? Because we can do it here, why not over there? Here, in a few years, you'll go anywhere and you will have this very small device, and it will flawlessly, seamlessly will be speaking the other language. Wherever you land, you'll be speaking that language with your own words. Sister, go ahead.
Inshallah, last question.
That is kind of my question, like what professions will be impacted by AI in the future? Like which professions should we steer our youth away from?
Yeah, so I had mentioned that learn Python, learn some of these AI tools, open an account on OpenAI, simply go to openai.com, and it takes only a few seconds to create an account. Play with it if you have not, to spend some time, and put some of your biggest problems out there. See what kind of answers you get. If you're in medical fields, you're trying to learn about your bodies, put that question there, see if you can solve that problem, whatever the cancer, whatever. So all these things will be done by AI. How much time do we have? So I just want to also mention, I think a couple of people had alluded to that one. The privacy will be a big issue. Already we don't have privacy. Google is recording you, Amazon is recording you, Facebook is recording you, every app on your phone is recording you. In fact, you say something and next time you open your computer, you see a similar ad. So they're listening to you. So privacy is one issue. Ethics is another issue. Already we have blurry line. We have LGBT issue, and in fact there'll be a session. This line will be completely disappear about ethics. Fake news, already we have fake news. In fact, fake news which has digital content, visual content will be very prevalent as well. So, sister, I can speak to you later on.
Okay, Jazakallah khair to our speaker, Dr. Tahir. I know